I'm already a millionaire in my mind. I may not see it yet, but I believe it now. In the same way a seed is called by its finished form, I'm accepting my divine inheritance as a child of God. I'm meant to have life and have it more abundantly. My treasure on earth shall correspond directly to the treasure in the heaven of my mind. Abundance is my birthright. Ashe, amen, and so it is. My name is Jullien Gordon, and I'm author of Rich and Righteous: Spiritual Secrets to Mastering Money, Manifestation, and Your Mind. After becoming a multimillionaire through real estate investing, I was moved by God at the beginning of the pandemic to share my money mindset that allowed me to quit my job in January of 2009 at the bottom of the last recession and achieve full financial freedom. I own my mental real estate before I own any physical real estate. This book is like some of your favorites: Rich Dad, Poor Dad, As a Man Thinketh, Think and Grow Rich, and the Bible all in one. But the divine downloads and thoughts that are in here are 100% original and came to me over a 6-month period at the beginning of the pandemic. This book is normally $100 on Amazon if you went there right now, but I want to give you access to it for free by inviting you to our next reading group. Yes, the reading group is 100% free. Every weekday for 100 days straight, I'll be reading and discussing the 10 money commandments in the book that make money come to you in your life easily, more frequently, and abundantly. And it will take about 30 to 45 minutes as we read 3 to 5 pages per day until we finish the book and reprogram your mind around money. Why 100 days? Well, if you are 30 years old, you've lived for 10,950 days. And we have to deprogram and reprogram the negative, scarcity-based money mindset society has taught you. And I believe I can do that in just 1% of the time in about 100 days. I'm done with shelf help. You know, when you buy a book to change your life, but you never read it, it just sits on your bookshelf and collects a whole bunch of dust. We off that. When is the last time you had an author actually read their book to you out loud because they cared about you getting the information in your soul? I'm not just here to get this book in your hands. More importantly, I want to get it in your head and your heart, because that's where the real transformation occurs, in the conscious and the subconscious mind. As scripture says, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. This is not the type of book that you just read once. To renew the subconscious mind requires repetition over and over and over. So if you joined us last time, I encourage you to join us again. I myself have read this book over 10 times already. So click the link to join our next reading group, and when you sign up, I'm going to give you the first 2 chapters of the book for absolutely free on what is money and abundance is your birthright, so that you can start your journey to a more abundant life today. Rich Rising, welcome to another day of Read Rich and Righteous. We are actually on day number 38, and we are reading the section on using your imagination. We call it imagination because we know that that's how God creates. If we look at Genesis, let us make man in our image. And we know that God is not just some human being in the sky. So we're actually not made in God's image. We're actually made in God's imagination. And so all of Genesis and this whole creation story came from the imagination. It started with thought, out of darkness, and then thought. Let there be light, right? Let there be this, let there be that, and it was good. And so that's how we want to create as children of God. And so that's what we'll be exploring today. Go ahead and chat right now and type in your consistency score. Let me know how consistent you've been throughout this journey. We are on day 38. We just passed the halfway mark as of last Friday, and we are coming around the corner as we are participating in this 100-day money mindset reprogram. Actual 72 readings, and then when you add in the weekends, it's 100 days that will be on this journey. And the reason that's significant is because if you're 30 years old, you've been on earth for 10,950 days. And all we're doing is taking 100 days to literally reprogram all the negative program you've had around money in your life. And this is really going to be a powerful experience that transforms your life forever. If you're joining us for the first time, go ahead and type 0 in chat, and then go to richrightnow.com to actually join the challenge for absolutely free. Cost you nothing. This is a love offering that I'm making to the world because I was told to do it. I got a divine download the first time we read this to just wake up and start reading your book. I'd written this amazing book and this financial Bible for us, Rich and Righteous: Spiritual Secrets of Mastering Money, Manifestation, in Your Mind. And one day God woke me up and said, just start reading. So I started reading, and hundreds of people came, and we just kept reading. And over 3.5 months, we got to the end, and it was really, really powerful. And so we're doing it again, and it's been just as powerful this time, even more powerful, because a lot of people are on their second reading of it now. I've read this book over 10 times. Like, I can't even believe that my name is on this cover. It was a divine download. I was being woken up at 3 a.m. to write this for you, for myself and for you. And so I read it and I continue to get new insights and notes similar to the Bible. People keep reading the Bible, or actually a lot of people actually ain't even read the Bible, but they will reread certain chapters and scriptures over and over and get new insights when they hear it a different way. And so that's happening for me. And so I'm just taking you on this journey as we really try to understand and reconcile our relationship and transform our relationship to this thing called money. We know that 13 out of 39 of Jesus' parables were about money, and so we want to make sure that our relationship with it is not perverted or inverted, and that we are actually master over it and it's not master over us. Okay, so today we are on page 191, and we're going to be reading about the power of your imagination and how to use it. And let's get into it right now. All right, and we are in money commandment number 5, which is how the rich and righteous ask for money. So on Friday, we covered the problem with vision boards. And then yesterday, we talked about the greatest sin of all being lack of belief, which is cynicism, S-I-N, right? Hyphen I-C-I-S-M. Cynicism is the lack of belief in ourselves. C-Y, right? That cynicism in the dictionary is lack of belief and distrust in other people. Cynicism, the greatest sin of all, is our lack of belief. It says it is done unto you as you believe. And so our belief, right, not having that mustard seed of belief in ourselves and in the divine downloads and ideas that we're getting from the Creator, that's the greatest sin of all. All right, not the fall, not Eve eating an apple. It has nothing to do with that. In fact, I don't even know if apples were in that region. All right, so page 191, type I got it when you got it. Type I got it when you got it. All right, let's get into it. So the scripture for the day is Genesis 13:1, and of course Genesis, because we're really talking about creation and how manifestation works, and there's a template laid out in that particular book for how creation actually works, especially the early chapters. So the scripture for the day, Genesis 13:1. After Lot had departed, the Lord said to Abram, "Now lift up your eyes from the place where you are." Listen very carefully, right? Now lift up your eyes from the place where you are and look to the north and the south and the east and the west. For all the land that you see, I will give to you and your offspring forever. This is the promised land. I will make your offspring like the dust of the earth, so that if one could count the dust of the earth, then your offspring could be counted. Get up and walk around the land through its length and width, for I will give it to you. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Did y'all catch it? If y'all caught it, type I caught it. Or I got it. Type I got it if you heard what we about to get into. All right? You ready? Okay, top of page 191. Whoever you want to be and wherever you want to go, you must go there in your mind first. Okay? So Abram was being commanded to lift up his eyes from the lower place he was in and to go experience the land before it was actually given to him. I'm going to read that again. Whoever you want to be and wherever you want to go, you must go there in your mind first. Abram was commanded to lift up his eyes from this physical reality, lift up his eyes, which is his consciousness, to a higher place to be able to see all that was possible and that would eventually be given to him. But we have to elevate first, like going from the lobby of the Empire State Building to the top of the Empire State Building. You have a completely different perspective of what's possible. You're able to see north, you're able to see south, west, east. You're able to see the possibility, but from down here, you have a limited perception of what's possible for you. So this is why we have to elevate in consciousness before we do anything. We lift up. And if you read the scriptures, you'll see the word up over and over. Jesus went up. Moses went up. Lift up your eyes. Up, 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 up. You'll see this up and down scenario all throughout the scriptures. And now you'll be able to distinguish what it actually means. It's the elevation of consciousness. This is why Jesus was taken to the top of the temple, right? We know that the top of the temple here is here. This is our Christ consciousness. This is our highest level of thinking. That's what it means. Okay? But if you take the Bible only literally, you'll miss that. And what I mean by taking it literally, like when Jesus says, go pray in your closet, it doesn't mean an actual closet. But the Catholic Church, they took that, and now all of a sudden you have prayer closets. You don't need any kind of closet or anything outside of yourself to pray. The closet is in your mind. But this is the problem when we start taking things literally. We start creating prayer closets and other rituals that are not aligned with what is actually meant and intended by the actual writing. Are y'all with me? Okay? So whoever you want to be and wherever you want to go, you must go there first in your mind. When you are even driving to a destination, right? In your GPS, you put where you are and where you want to go. You already imagine yourself at that event. Imagine yourself at that store. You already know what you're going to go get there. You've even went there first in your mind. That's how you even created the list of the things that you're going to buy there. You went there in your mind first. And so all I'm asking you to do is apply that same principle to your greater desires beyond just your Saturday to-do list. This is making sense. Everything manifests twice, first in your mind and then in the material. If you want to be a millionaire, you must become a multimillionaire, first in your mind and then with your money. This is where the power of your imagination, also known as visualization, comes into play. When you become a deliberate creator, you can use what I call deliberate deja vu. Everybody type deliberate deja vu. How many of you had deja vu before? Okay. How many of you had deja vu before? Deliberate deja vu. You may have had deja vu, but now we want to use deliberate deja vu. Deja vu is the feeling that one has lived through the present situation before. Okay. Now, the deja vu, again, that you may have had in the past may have been like, oh, this feels very familiar, right? Now we want to use deja vu in a deliberate way. The phrase deja vu translates literally as already seen. And anything that we want must be seen with our mind's eyes first. This is why Abram was commanded to lift up his eyes and see the promised land in advance, okay, of actually receiving it. He had to see it in advance of receiving it. And yesterday we talked about you have to believe it before you can see it. A lot of people have to see it to believe it. No, this is also evidence that you must believe it, right, and see it in your mind's eye before you actually receive it. Bottom of page 191. Isn't it true for how you book a trip to a foreign country? Don't you go there in your mind first through other people's stories, pictures, and videos before you arrive in the flesh? Is that true, family? Have you ever blindly booked a flight to a place you didn't visit in your imagination first? You see how we apply these principles to lower level things? Now I'm inviting you to apply the same principles to higher level things. The reason you went to Aruba is because you heard about it, your friend went there, you saw pictures of it, and you imagine yourself on the beach and in that hotel first before you even booked the flight. You went there in your mind first. Using imagination, someone can daydream on their day job and be on a beach in the Caribbean mentally, though they are physically sitting there at their desk in their cubicle. You can travel to an island and feel it without getting on an airplane. But the beach they see themselves on is rooted in the lack of freedom they don't currently feel they have at a job they hate, in the same way a mirage appears to a person dying of thirst in a desert. So when we're using our imagination, we don't want to use it daydreaming, right? We don't want to use it out of a place of I don't have, okay? I'm not there, right? They're imagining themselves on a beach because they actually hate where they're at. We don't want to use it from that place, and that's what makes it difficult for it to manifest. We can reverse this use of imagination to escape to instead create. Okay, we want to use it in a more powerful way, not as a way to escape our current reality, but to create our current reality. We don't want to use it as a way to escape our current reality. We want to use it as a way to create our current or new reality. Is this making sense? All right. We don't want to use it out of that negative place. The same muscle of your imagination can help you create a life you don't need to vacate from. How many of y'all want a life that you don't need to vacate from? Right? Now, of course, you need to rest, and going to these amazing places is awesome, right? But wouldn't you rather have a life that you don't need to vacate from because you love it so much right where you are in the present moment? Every action except program reactions is premeditated. Every action except programmed reactions are premeditated. Before you can make a sandwich, you think to yourself, I'm going to make a sandwich. Correct? You don't just start making a sandwich without a thought first. And then the neurons fire. And because you've made so many sandwiches, you don't even have to think about it because neurons that are wired together fire together. The feeling of hunger led to a thought of a sandwich, which led to a physical action and ultimately the manifestation. Okay? We also hear terminology like premeditated murder, right? Premeditated murder. And we understand premeditation in a negative context. Okay. So we have the daydreaming on the day job, right? In a negative context. I'm trying to escape. Then we have premeditated murder, right? Which is in a negative context. But the same laws can apply to positive creation through premeditated manifestation. Everybody type, I premeditate my life. I premeditate my life. I consciously and intentionally premeditate my life. Okay? We can engage in premeditated love, premeditated wealth, premeditated freedom, premeditated success, premeditated best-selling books, premeditated jobs, premeditated health, premeditated homes, premeditated cars, or premeditated recovery. You get to premeditate it. In fact, I said best-selling book. Look right here, y'all. Look at this. What's this say right here? Over 1 million copies sold. I'm premeditating. This is an image that I have in my office, and I'm premeditating that this book will sell over 1 million copies. Okay? That's what premeditation looks like, using an image. It's just as easy for me to create this cover as it is to create that cover. So I premeditate that until that becomes a reality. I believe it until I see it. Right? That's what premeditation looks like. So I'm using my imagination. In the career context, it's called a dream job because you dreamed or imagined it first, correct? You can test drive a car to get mentally ready to buy it even though you are not financially ready. You can set goals and plan out your year or day before it actually unfolds. And we talked about having a to-do list, not a long to-do list, but 2 things. You can imagine the best case scenario occurring before walking into a seemingly difficult conversation. A lot of us avoid conflict because we imagine the worst case scenario if this conversation goes awry, right? But you can also take that same thought energy and imagine the best case scenario, that you both feel understood and heard and that you come to a resolution that is actually higher than your current status. The only way to shape the future is from the present moment. When I ask people what financial freedom means to them, I'm looking for specific images. Having an image of financial freedom, a snapshot of a moment in time, a picture you would post on social media can give us a vision of what it will take for you to be free. We can't leave it up to vague words and ideas like, oh, freedom means happiness and it means rich or it means family. Okay, what does that actually look like for you? Because we said images, pictures speak what? 1,000 words. What does happiness look like on a daily basis? The reason some of you are not getting what you desire because you use vague words to describe what you want. What does happiness mean to you? Not only what does it mean to you, what does it look like in reality? If you had to give me an image, 3 images of happiness, what would that look like for you? Right? What is the how much money is rich? Don't just say I want to be rich. How much money is rich? What is the actual dollar amount? And what would I see with a camera if you were free to live out your value of family right now? What would I see on a camera? Would I see you traveling together? Would I see you all eating dinner together? Would I see daddy-daughter date? Right? Would I see you at their sporting events? What does family, is it a whole bunch of auntie and uncles coming over and you having big gatherings? What does family look like to you? We need to see the image. The image. It'll be easier for the subconscious to work when you give it specific instructions. I know when I build and do development in real estate, if I don't make what's in my imagination clear to my contractors, then they will use their imagination in my absence. If I don't make what's clear in my imagination clear to the contractors, then they will fill in and use their imagination and do something that I didn't imagine. But that's my responsibility to communicate what I imagine to them. And if I'm not there on site on a particular day and a decision needs to be made, they'll use their imagination because I didn't share with them mine. The same is with the universe. You have to be very clear about what you imagine because it doesn't know how to respond to vagueness. When you use vague language to describe what you want, guess what you get? You get vague results. You get vague results. Second paragraph, page 193. With social media, many people post filtered, edited, curated pictures of themselves. For example, skydiving pictures are common, but experiences like that don't make up a majority of one's life. First and foremost, the free fall portion of a skydive typically only lasts 1 minute. Secondly, skydiving is pretty safe. And third, many people do it. I fully support someone overcoming any fear, like the fear of heights. But who I am inspired by are people trying to fly every day, not somebody who just jumps out of a plane in one moment, such as the people who are pursuing their dreams and living out their purpose without a parachute. The people who are committed to dreaming as long as they are awake. The people who are doing the things that have never been done before and creating things that have never been seen. That's who I'm inspired by, not somebody who posts and curates their timeline showing that they skydove, right? You rarely see pictures of people's 40-hour work week, yet that's a majority of people's lives. I don't want to just have glimpses of freedom. It goes beyond social media highlight reels, temporary vacations, and how much money you make. I want freedom to be your default way of being, doing, and having in the world. I'm just sharing with you, especially for those of you who are still caught up in comparison. Most of what you see on people's social media is not their actual life. Those are glimpses. Those are highlight reels of their life. Even growing up, I used to watch ESPN a lot, right? And ESPN would break down a 48-minute basketball game into, a 2-minute highlight reel. A lot of the rest of the game was boring, especially baseball. Baseball is even longer games, right? And you might have a home run here and an amazing defensive play here. That's the highlight reel, 90 seconds, but the game was actually 3 hours. So a lot of the game was boring. So a lot of people are only showing you their highlight reels, and I understand why, right? They don't want to show you their boring 40-hour work week, but for those of you who are caught up in comparison is the number one killer of happiness. So stop looking at people's timeline and comparing your life to theirs. Ultimately, what we want is we want those highlights to be a majority of our life, not a minority in our life. Is this clear? All right. So one, we need to imagine what those highlights look like in our mind first, so that the subconscious mind can work for us 24/7 to bring them into reality. Top of page 194. Earlier, we discussed how financial freedom means different things to different people. Since freedom is the ultimate feeling we are seeking, what financial number will get us to that feeling? What after-tax dollar amount do you need to earn to afford and sustain the lifestyle you desire without selling your soul? In less than an hour using the internet, you could cost out the actual life you desire. From the mortgage of the house you want, to the car you want to drive, and the tuition at the schools you want your kids to go to, and the trips you want to take, so that rich is a specific dollar amount, not just some vague idea. Is everybody clear on that? I want you to list out, okay, I want to go to this restaurant twice a month. I want my kids to go to this school. I want them to have these cars. I want to have this kind of car. I want my partner to have this kind of car. I want us to live here in this neighborhood, and the houses here cost this, and the interest rate is this, so the mortgage will be this. I've actually looked up the property taxes and the insurance. That'll be this on this house. Our lawn care is going to be this. I want a house cleaner, right? And I want a gardener. That's going to cost this. I want to take this many trips and to these places. I've actually looked at flights, and the hotel I want to stay at, it costs this much per night. And these are experiences I want to have when I go there, right? I want to go to brunch with my friends twice a month. I want to go to the spa and get massages twice a month. I want a personal trainer. You can literally go cost all these things out so that you know the specific number that you need, right? After taxes, in order to live the life that you desire. All right? That's the challenge. That is the homework. Okay? I think you will find that that number isn't as big as you imagine and that you are closer than you think. Even if it does feel far-fetched at first, at least you have a specific target now. We're not just chasing a vague target, because how can I hit a target when I don't see one? It's hard to hit a target that is unseen. So it's really important for us to come up with that number, and that's the homework for everybody that is here. And it is in the rituals workbook. I'll get to that at the end. Okay. Second paragraph, page 194. For example, one person I asked said freedom would be to have my spouse be with me while we work from our laptops in various countries. Okay, that's a very specific image, right? A specific snapshot, whereas location independence is just a vague idea. Okay, they gave me a picture that I could see on a camera. That is the question you want to use. How would this look on camera? Right? Not for other people, only from my own imagination. How would this look on camera? Are you in matching bathing suits? His swim trunks match your bathing suit. Are there kids there? How are they learning? Right? Are they being homeschooled? Are you teaching them? Is this only summer breaks, or is this year round? Are you moving with the sun? Right? We want to get very specific. A picture speaks 1,000 words. When you picture something in your mind, you've picked your desired reality. Everybody type picked -your. That's another way of saying picture. You picked your. You are picturing your reality. You're picking it as you create these pictures without a camera. The camera is here. The camera is the eye, right? When we say the eye of the camera is the eye in your mind. It is the single eye in your mind. It is not divided, right? Just like putting a puzzle together, you start by looking at the picture on the box, right? And you fill in the missing pieces one by one as you go. For the more specific image, we can extract all the pieces this person would need to have in place to feel free and cost those things out. It is clear, and we're going to walk into that. So when you are completing a puzzle, imagine how hard it would be to complete a puzzle when you don't have the box. How many of y'all do this? When you're working on a puzzle, you put the box, you stand the box up on its side so that you can see what you're actually creating. And then you see, oh, there's blues over here and there's greens over here. And then there's this item over here that's brownish. Okay, so now let me organize these pieces. Let me get the edges. Let me get the frame first, right? How many of y'all start with the edges when you're doing a puzzle, right? Then you start grouping things in colors, right? You say, okay, this pile goes over here, this pile goes over here, and then this is my uncertain pile. I don't know where those fit in yet. Okay. And then you start putting together. And the other thing about a puzzle is as you get more and more pieces together, guess what? The puzzle starts going faster because you have less and less pieces to draw from. Right. And it becomes a process of trial and error. So in this situation where this person said freedom would be to have my spouse be with me while we work from our laptops in various countries. Okay. What would this person need? What would this person need in order to do that? This person would need to free their significant other too, not just themselves. So even though this might be on their personal vision board, they would also have to free their partner or work on their partner's freedom if they're stuck on the corporate plantation, because they don't want to just do this alone. They're in a union, a divine union. Secondly, this person doesn't want to be tied to a location. So some home ownership may not be part of their vision. Home ownership may not be part of their vision. Or maybe it is. Maybe they have a multifamily property that pays for itself and they Airbnb their unit when they're gone. Or maybe they have a tiny home, right? You know, I'm part of a tiny home development. Maybe they have a tiny home and they touch base in a particular city every now and again, but for most case, they're out. Or maybe they have no real estate at all because they don't want to be tied down by the mortgage, the principal, interest, taxes, insurance, and repairs of a single family home, right? So they would have to align on that. The other thing that they would need, they likely isn't considering kids at the moment, or may need to find a nanny to travel with them. So in order to have this lifestyle, the question is, how can we have it with kids? If we're bouncing around from different countries, do we have to have enough income to pay for a nanny? Or are we not having kids at all? Or are we going to do this once the kids graduate? When is this happening? How does that all tie in? Where do kids fit in this situation? They may need storage if they have things they value, since they would likely be traveling light. So they need to figure out what goes in that storage, what's valuable to them, right? And they would need to add that expense onto their budget for the lifestyle that they desire, and they need to generate income online, likely through a virtual and or product-based business. So this one specific image, which was freedom, would be to have my spouse be with me while we work from our laptops in various countries, right? That one specific image now has helped us put the puzzle together and see all the other working parts and pieces that are necessary in order to create and manifest this image. See, that's work. That's mental work. But that mental work will make it easier for you to do the material, earthly, physical work to manifest it. Now it's very clear on how all these things that I'm doing, everything that I'm doing now has a purpose, because I'm clear on how all of it ties in to me having this experience. From this snapshot, we can reverse engineer what it will take for this person and their partner to be free together, and they can start to make plans and decisions that move them towards this vision. Perhaps their partner doesn't have the same vision as them, but now with an image, they can at least start having a conversation around what each individual wants and create a singular vision, right, that aligns with both of their individual ones. Using images to describe what you want avoids confusion in your mind and the mind of those you are seeking to enroll in your vision. When you tap into your imagination, the initial images may only include you, right? But as you begin to fill in the vision with more detail, you start to realize that other people are included and involved, such as significant others, kids, parents, employers, clients, teams, and ultimately you create your own nation. So the last part of the word imagination is that usually in order to manifest any vision that you have, you're going to need a nation to do so. You're going to need your own nation to actually manifest the image that you have in your mind. Okay? So this is why you must imagine a nation, because our lives are interdependent on other individuals and institutions. Okay? So your homework, for those of you who have the rituals workbook, is to complete the imagination and freedom exercise. Okay? The freedom requirements exercise and the abundance budget. So that's all connected to this particular chapter. So here's freedom requirements on page 158. 158, and the imagination and freedom exercise is here, right? So that's what I want you to complete for homework, and the abundance budget is right there next to it, all right? So 57 through 59, that is your homework. If you do not have the rituals workbook, you can go to richrightnow.com/store, richrightnow.com/store, and you can get the rituals workbook so that you can do all the exercises that you see at the end of the chapters, which will anchor in these teachings. So you're not just here passively listening, you're actually actively engaging and putting these laws and principles into practice. All right. So that concludes today's reading. Tomorrow we will be getting into how to get everything that you pray for. How to get everything that you pray for. So I'm excited about that. I'm going to share with you 3 ways to get everything that you prayed for. In chat right now, really quickly, just type in your greatest takeaways from today. Type in your greatest takeaways from today. Of course, we don't want deja vu to just be something that's happenstance. We want deliberate deja vu, right? We want to be deliberate creators of our experience, right? And we know that we can use premeditation for anything. Premeditation doesn't just have to be negative. It can actually be positive. Premeditated love, premeditated health, premeditated success, right? We know that that's key. We know that we will need a nation. We will need a nation to manifest the images that we have. We cannot move through this life alone. Everything is interdependent and interconnected. So even if your vision board only seems to have you in it, right? Or maybe your vision board has other people in it, we have to now align their visions with our vision in order to have our vision. So there are conversations that need to be had. And then once we have that vision, we need to map out and budget what it's going to cost to actually have this lifestyle and all the intricate pieces. And the more specific we are with our images, right, remove the vagueness and make it actually easier for us to get what we desire, right? So those are the lessons for today. We premeditate our lives. We picture our reality. We picture our reality in our mind. And so we want to be very clear about those images. And guess what? You have an eraser. You can always edit and erase a part of an image and change it. You have that freedom. Using the power of your conscious mind, you have that freedom. But it's up to you to put the images into the system and then watch them manifest. All right? So with that, I will see you tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, we are reading the section on how to get everything you pray for. There's 3 things that I'll be covering that you need. Actually, 4 things that you need that will help you get everything that you pray for as we continue money commandment number 5, which is how the rich and righteous ask for money. All right. So be God to yourself. Go love yourself as God loves you. All right. Master yourself in the way that God is master over you. And remember that you are God or first cause in your own life, that no individual, institution, or situation outside of yourself has more power over the direction of your life than you. All right. I will see you tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, family. Much love. Peace.
What's up, y'all? It's Jullien from the Multi-Family Movement, and this is my community behind me. It's 300 of us out here in Baton Rouge for our tour of our commercial properties, our flips, our vacant lots. We're also raising money just to build this real estate portfolio collectively through group economics. So it's so beautiful to see everybody here. We 6 buses deep. This is also our building behind us at Legacy on 14th Street. So this is real estate in real life, and this is real people. This is not just some online community or course. We out here really doing it together as a collective. So this is family, multi-family movement in the building. Everybody say multi-family on 3. It's family. Yeah. The whole crew, y'all. So when you want to learn how to get in the game, much love. Peace.